Welcome everybody. Now we're going to start Unit 2 of Texas Government Online. And here's just a little introduction into what we're going to be looking at. Here's some of the common themes. First, we're going to be looking at the state legislature. This is where all state laws are made, regulations are set, etc. And only a member of the legislature can file a bill that may become a law. This is where communities of interest are represented. Districts, state representatives and state senators are elected from districts all around the state, 254 counties. There are 31 districts in the Senate. There are 150 in the House of Representatives. And so this is where people get to participate and make the laws that govern the state in majority. Next, we're going to look at statewide elected officials, and this is how our state is governed in the executive. And so remember, the Constitution of 1876 is a fallout from the Reconstruction era when we had a lot of concentration of power in one governor. And remember, we spread out the responsibilities of governing over the plural executive because we never wanted to have that much power resting in one place. So the Constitution of 1876 creates this pantheon of statewide elected officials who really only answer to the voters. Now, while senators and representatives in our state legislature are elected from communities of interest across the state, statewide elected officials are elected by everyone who votes in the state. Remember, big difference between Texans and Texans who vote. We learned in our Civic Health Index that very few Texans vote. We're 47th in the country in voter turnout. Only about 40% of Texans vote. So statewide elected officials represent the majority of Texans who vote, which is not very many. So what you have in the statewide elected offices is very different than what you have representing in the Senate and the House of Representatives. So we're going to learn about the difference between people who get elected from a district who advocate specifically for the areas that they represent, the constituents, the people that they represent, and those who are elected by the state. And so we're going to look at each one of the statewide elected officials, who has the power, what do they do, and then finally in the next chapter, we're going to be looking at the court system in Texas. One of the interesting things about the court system in Texas is that all of our judges are elected. Now, when you run for office, you have to tell the people what they want to hear. You have to raise money. So that creates some different dynamics in our criminal justice system here in Texas. And we're also going to look at how the court system is set up. So Unit 1 is all about who is in office, what are their responsibilities, and who do they answer to. Okay, so we'll get started right away.